Now I'm going to actually ask you in this time that you put all your distractions away, anything that might be taken away from this moment. And I want to ask you to be free to raise up your hands wherever you are, to be in a quiet place, anything you need to get in the right mindset. We're going to raise up our voices now and sing to Jesus and give praise to his name. Amen. I'll raise a hallelujah in the presence of my enemies. I'll raise a hallelujah louder than the unbelief. I'll raise a hallelujah, and weapon is a melody. I'll raise a hallelujah. Believe this. Heaven comes to fight for me. Come on.
I'm gonna sing in the middle of the storm, louder and louder. You gotta hear my praises roar. Up from the ashes, hope will arise. Death is defeated, the King is alive.
I'll raise a hallelujah out of everything inside of me. I'll raise a hallelujah. I will watch the darkness flee. I'll raise a hallelujah in the middle of all the mystery. I'll raise a hallelujah. Fear you lost your hold on me. I'm gonna sing in the middle of the storm, louder and louder. You're gonna hear my praises roar. Out from the ashes, hope will arise. Death is defeated, the King is alive. Yeah. Sing a little louder.
Sing a little louder,
Sing a little louder.
sing a little louder,
Oh, sing a little louder.
sing a little louder,
Oh, sing a little louder.
sing a little
Come on, sing it out.
louder.
Oh, sing a little louder in the presence of my enemies. Sing a little louder.
Louder than the unbelief.
Sing a little louder.
My weapon is a melody.
Sing a little louder.
Fear you lost your hold on me.
Sing a little louder.
In the presence of
My
my
enemies. Sing a little louder.
So, when you don't know how to do something, how to fix something, or how something works, what do? Ask a teacher? Ask your parents? Ask your friends? Ask someone you really know and trust? No! You go to the internet and ask some randos. But I'm not talking about creeps here, I hope. No, I mean the people of the internet! You know, those people who make how-to videos. Because chances are, if you're trying to figure out something, someone on the internet has already figured it out for you. Things like, how do I unsend a text? No. How do I do a winged eyeliner? How do I get rid of the zit by Friday night? How do I get out of gym class? How do I screen cap Snapchat without getting caught? They'll never know. But then there are things in life that don't have an easy fix, that don't have a simple solution, that don't have a how-to video. Things like what to do when you have problems with family, or when it seems like you have no control in your life, or what to do when someone has done something to you. I mean, clearly, they gotta go. The truth is, there's a lot of life that doesn't have a solution you can just find online. So how do you know what to do when you don't know what to do?
Hey guys, welcome to week 3 of our series, What to Do When You Don't Know What to Do. We just had an incredible time of worship and we're so glad that you have tuned in tonight. Go ahead, share this video, invite some people to join us on Instagram Live, YouTube Live, and Facebook Live. And we're going to have some special guests. We're going to introduce you to them here in just a minute. It's going to be awesome, and let's get started. Let's do it. What's up, Katie?
What's
How you
up?
doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good, doing good. So tell us what you've been up to lately.
Well, I just finished school, so I'm done with that. Thank the Lord. And I'm now working on getting my driver's license, and I'm beginning to go to more things. So.
Yes, nice. And you're in Indiana, so you get like, do y'all drive at 16? Or do you have to be 16 and a half?
16-ish. It's like 16 in 3 months. So.
Okay, all right, that's pretty cool. And you have restaurants
Right.
open.
Eat out.
So you get to eat out.
You're living a life.
You're living a life. We're all a little jealous of you over
I mean,
there.
you have reason to be. Like, food is amazing, so for sure.
Food is amazing. Totally agree. Woo. And what's up, Jacob? How you doing, bud?
What's going on?
What's going on, dude? So tell us what you've been up to lately, man.
Let's see. We finished school like a week ago, so
Okay.
I have a lot of free time. You know, been picking up Taco Bell.
Hey. So what's your go-to order at Taco Bell?
Oh gosh, so there's these chicken mini quesadilla melts, and I get like 4 of those. Those things they're insane.
Dude, the cheesy gordita crunch, but the chicken mini quesadillas are pretty fire.
They are
sure,
pretty.
for
They're
sure,
pretty good.
Well, hey, man.
All right, what's up, my man, Julian? How have you been doing?
I've been doing great.
Bro, what have you been up to?
I mean, I'm still doing work, which is, it's kind of stressful on me. But other than that, I've been outside working out, riding my new bike.
Okay,
And I'm also on watching Netflix shows like Stranger Things and Outer Banks.
I feel you. You been dunking?
Yes. I'm almost getting there.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I know I'm short for my height. I can get up there. I can dunk.
I feel you. Keep trying. You'll get there.
I know. Thanks.
Man, I'm so glad you guys are all joining us tonight and doing great. We are glad to have you guys, and it's going to get kicked off and we get started. I want to ask you a question, is if you were in a situation and you found $20 on the ground, what would you do?
So, if I found $20 on the ground, let's see, I would pick it up and I'd probably take it to a responsible adult near me and ask what to do with it because I don't know what to do.
Okay, all right, that's very good. That's nice. I think I have a lot of things in my head, like I would want to do that, but there would be a lot of temptation, like I might just put this in my pocket, Maybe a quick look, did anyone see it?
There's definitely a temptation.
For sure.
All right, I'd say it'd definitely be hard to not just keep the money, because $20. But depending on like if I could drive, I would maybe like pay it forward to someone else. But it's kind of hard to give it away.
It is. There's that temptation. It's like $20, man. That could buy lots of Taco Bell. That's a lot of mini
That
quesadillas
could.
right
That's
there.
like 5 trips
you
to
know,
Taco Bell.
but that's so cool. Pay it forward. That's awesome answer.
All right, so Julian, what would you do if you found $20 on the ground?
If I found $20, what I used to do, I'll just leave it there and wait a couple. Like when I was little, or I went to like elementary school, my little brother, sister found $100 right by our neighbor's yard. We just left it there because we didn't want to pick it up, because I don't like being that person that will steal money. I want to be the nice person, because there's that temptation to where you want to just pick it up because it's no one's really coming for it. So I'll just leave it there, maybe pick it up. That's who it is. But other than that, I'll just leave it there.
I feel you. That's cool. Definitely, probably depends on where you find it too. If you want to put it in your pocket or try to take it to someone.
So yeah, that's kind of a difficult situation. Like all of those answers were incredible because there's kind of not really that one thing that we're supposed to do. I mean, maybe if we weren't being recorded, we would kind of answer it completely different if we're honest, right? I mean, but if $20 or $100 or whatever is on the ground, there's a situation of, like you guys said, maybe some of you would argue plain out, hey, you got to take it to a manager. You got to take it to a responsible adult. Or some of you would be like, hey, this is not a morality issue, finders keepers, right? And you would just put it in your pocket. And there's some of us couldn't say that's wrong. Or maybe we leave it there. That's a great answer. Or pay it forward. Those are some great answers. And that's kind of where we're going tonight is, what are we going to do in situations when there's not necessarily a clear answer? Because we got to be honest with ourselves. In some situations, there's not just an obvious answer. Like maybe it's a question for you, like should you date this person? Like there may not be this most clear, obvious answer. Or maybe you're dating someone and you get a text at like midnight and it's the opposite sex and you text back. Is that cheating? I don't really know. Like what is going on? Or in the same situation, maybe you have a friend who asks you something and you want to be honest, but you don't know if it's going to cost you your friendship. There's a lot of scenarios that we could present where there's not just a clear black and white yes, no answer. It's kind of a gray area where we don't necessarily know what we're supposed to do. Sometimes the answer isn't always obvious. And we also have to acknowledge the truth of this is that sometimes the right thing to do, it'll cost us something. For instance, if we come honest with our parents, then maybe we get grounded from our phone for a month or maybe the rest of your life, right? Or at the same time, if your friend asks you a question and you're truly honest with them, maybe it could cost you a friendship. Maybe if you end that relationship that you're not sure you're supposed to be into, but maybe you know that you're not supposed to be more than you think you should, and you end it and now you're single. I mean, there's tons of scenarios that we would look and go, hey, the answer isn't necessarily clear, but there's also scenarios where we look and go, hey, the right answer might cost me something. And that's kind of where we're going in this series because we have to understand that sometimes what's right feels complicated. And even though when we know it's right, sometimes it's actually difficult to do it. So tonight we're going to be looking at what do we do when we don't know what to do? And what are we going to do in those situations that it could cost us something? And the perfect person to look to is this guy named Joseph. And that's where we're going to go tonight.
So as Ryan said, we're going to talk about Joseph. And I just want to know, what is your favorite part of the story of Joseph?
So my favorite part of the story would just be that he continues to do the right thing, because throughout the story he does the right thing, but so many things it would make him just wonder, like, why do I keep doing it if all these bad things are going to happen? Because that's a legit question that I feel like enters a lot of people's minds, including mine, just because it's like, I'm doing this right thing, but I feel like I'm being punished for doing it, which isn't at all what happens. But
Yeah, I feel like that's a really good answer, Katie.
I'd say it's basically what Katie said, just like the perseverance Joseph had and how after like everything he went through, like with his brothers selling him into slavery and stuff, he never like gave up on what God had for him.
Yeah, definitely something we want to be like.
Okay, so going to what Katie and Jacob said, I like that what they said, but my favorite part is when, even though like he's kind of being that one brother that nobody likes, back to what Ryan and Brayden said last week, no one wants that brother that, he got the coat, he got everything he got, but he's the younger brother, so no one wants that. Everyone always wants that attention to where they want everybody to know who they are, what there is. My thing is what Joseph did, even though he got sold into slavery, he still loved his brothers no matter what. And that's what we all want as a family. We all want to have that one brother, that one family that we can all stick together no matter what.
Yeah, that's really big. That's big. So, last week we talked about Joseph being sold into slavery, And this week we're picking up with what happened right after that. So if you know the story, Joseph is sold to an officer of Pharaoh named Potiphar. Pharaoh's like a king, emperor, president, all mixed in one. So he's a big deal. And obviously his officers are a big deal. So Joseph's serving Potiphar in his house. He's over his house. And we're gonna see what happens in this situation. Some crazy stuff. But like we mentioned last week, in this chapter, it was quick to point out that God was with Joseph this whole time, and it says he also had favor with the official Potiphar, and that means that Potiphar was actually a fan of Joseph. He liked Joseph. It wasn't like he was a slave and like he was mistreating him. But this is what the story says about this in Genesis chapter 39. The Lord was with Joseph so that he prospered, and he lived in the house of his Egyptian master. When his master saw that the Lord was with him, and that the Lord gave him success in everything he did, Joseph found favor in his eyes and became his attendant. Potiphar put him in charge of his household, and he entrusted to his care everything he owned. From the time he put him in charge of his household and of all that he owned, the Lord blessed the household of the Egyptian because of Joseph. The blessing of the Lord was on everything Potiphar had, both in the house and in the field. So Potiphar left everything he had in Joseph's care. With Joseph in charge, he did not concern himself with anything except the food he ate. So things were not bad for Joseph when he got sold. I mean, he got sold into slavery, but like things sound pretty good, and it looks really good. But we're gonna see in a second things take a really bad turn, and it just gets a little sticky situation.
So yeah, things were going pretty good for Joseph because Potiphar trusted him. But it was also going good for Potiphar because Joseph was the head of his business. And God was blessing that, and Joseph's business was thriving. But things get a little bit difficult in verses 6 and 7. And here's what it says. Now Joseph was well built and handsome. And after a while, his master's wife took notice of Joseph and said, "Come to bed with me." Now the scripture tells us two things. Apparently, Joseph wasn't a bad-looking guy. And the second thing is, his wife took notice of him. Now this is kind of creates a difficult situation because Joseph was under Potiphar's rule and he was to obey every command of his house. But that wasn't just for Potiphar, that was also for his wife. Joseph was also under Potiphar's wife's command. And see, right here, when he looks and he doesn't do what she says, it could cost him his life, he could be kicked out, and he was in a pretty good scenario. I mean, as a slave, he was in like the perfect condition if you had to say for slavery. But at the same time, if he does what his wife requests, then that creates a whole nother situation. So what is Joseph going to do? Because both scenarios, if he obeys like he's supposed to, then that creates a different scenario. If he says no to Potiphar's wife, then that could be his life or it could get him kicked out of the house. So what does Joseph do when you don't know what to do?
This is what Joseph does here. It says, but he refused. With me in charge, he told her, my master does not concern himself with anything in the house. Everything he owns, he has entrusted to my care. No one is greater in this house than I am. My master has withheld nothing from me except you, because you are his wife. How then could I do such a wicked thing and sin against God? And though she spoke to Joseph day after day, he refused to go to bed with her or even be with her.
So basically, out of respect for Potiphar and even bigger respect for God, Joseph simply did the next right thing. Joseph didn't make a decision based on what was easy or how things might turn out for him. He didn't even make a decision based on his job or even his life. He made a decision based on what was right. And what was right in that moment was to turn down Potiphar's wife. Now this was complicated. It was challenging, but it was the right thing to do. So that brings us to a great question. What makes doing the right thing hard?
One thing that can make doing the right thing hard is just that you're the only one doing the right thing. I know that's very difficult, and it's also difficult just when you see like even people close to you like not doing the right thing because you know they've always been there and you've always been on the same page, and then they start to kind of like veer off, and then you're like, well, wait, what's going on? And so then you have to like go back to your own foundation about what your beliefs are on and what's right to you.
I'd say it's hard sometimes, like, if we're going to get something out of the wrong thing to do, I guess. So if we're gaining something, then it's hard to choose a different path since we would lose what we were going to gain.
Teenager, we always get put into this thing called peer pressure, and a lot of kids at our age, we usually attempt to it because we're still growing into life and understand how, you know, we're going to make that big first step. So either we're going to go with it or we're just going to go our own separate ways, because we can't have a friend that's just going to do the wrong thing for us and not lead us into the right direction.
All those things are great, man. That's incredible answers. And I think that really kind of hits it on the head. Sometimes it's hard to do the right thing because everyone else is doing the wrong thing. Sometimes we're pressured into making decisions that aren't right. And at the same time, if we're truly honest, Jacob, great answer, is sometimes doing the right thing doesn't always provide benefits right in that moment. And this is kind of the story for Joseph. Like, he could have made a lot of decisions, and maybe the decision that he didn't choose would have helped him out in that moment, but it wouldn't have set him up for where God wanted to take him. And I think one of the things that we could focus on is this word called integrity. And you've probably heard the word integrity before, but it kind of means this. It's the person who does what's right, regardless of the outcome and regardless of who is around. Sometimes doing the right thing will give you an applause. Sometimes doing the right thing, will grant you up for success. And sometimes doing the right thing will make you look stupid, if we're honest. And sometimes, as we've already said, doing the right thing will cost you something. But what we get to do is we don't get to decide how things will turn out, but we get to decide what kind of person we're going to be. And being a person of integrity will lead to a life with less regret, more respect, and a better idea of what to do in every situation. Chances are that we'll never find ourselves in the kind of situation that Joseph found himself, or at least I hope not, but we will find ourselves in situations where we go, I don't really know what the right thing to do is here. And if we make decisions not based on what is easiest for us, not based on what other people are doing, or not even based on what the best outcome would be in that moment, if we would base our decision on what is the right thing to do and being a person of integrity, then we're living lives that we can be proud of. We can simply do this. What to do when you don't know what to do is always do the next right thing. When you don't know what to do, always do the next right thing. Which brings us to a great question. How do you always know what the next right thing is?
You don't always know, but for me, most of the time, what I know is right is usually what other people are not doing, just because I know at school a lot, there's a lot of friends and just people that aren't doing the right thing. So usually by not following what everybody else is doing is how I know what the right thing is and just what I've been brought up to know. So
I'd say a lot of time, just having the mindset of what's going to help other people the most would be the right thing to do. If it's going to harm other people, what you're saying or doing, then you probably should try to do it another way.
That's good.
My way is to either trust your gut, your heart, or ask Jesus the question, whatever decision I make will lead me the right way or the wrong way. The reason I say this is because, like we already said, school, there's always the friends, people that will lead you in the wrong direction. We don't want that to happen, so we want to do what's right.
Yeah, those are some great answers, man. And I just appreciate you guys being honest and just sharing what God has done in your life. I think two things that we can always kind of help determine what the right thing is obviously your answers and what you guys have said is so true. How it treats other people, what is we look at it from overall of what other people are doing, allow other people to speak in, and then what would Jesus do? All of those are some great answers. I think other opportunities that we could have to determine what the right thing is maybe we can look and say, what am I afraid of? Because if you're like me, sometimes doing the right thing, it always comes with the fear of what if I do this, what are others going to think? And sometimes I can look and what I'm afraid of is sometimes the right thing to do. And in other situations, we could look and say this, does this help me become who I want to be? If I answer every scenario with who I want to be, is this the person I want to be? Is this what I want to be known for? Then that's going to help me determine what the right thing to do is in the moment. I may not know the whole situation and every step through the process, but I can always know the next right thing because I can look and say, who is this going to let me be? And who do I want to be? And what do I want to be known for? Hey, thank you guys for just answering those things. And what we want you to do right now is we want you to determine what your next thing is to do. And maybe right now, I would encourage you with these two things. Number one, tell someone what your next right thing to do is. Whatever situation you're facing, here in a little bit, you're going to go to small groups. And maybe you just need to tell someone, hey, my next right thing to do is this. And then at the same time, invite them to pray for you. Invite them to pray for you to have the courage, the boldness to step out and say, hey, this is going to cost me something, or other people may view me differently. But listen, I need you to pray for me because I want to make this next right decision. no matter what it is, knowing the right thing and doing the next right thing is going to be something that you will never, ever regret. Hey guys, thanks for joining us tonight. I just appreciate your honesty and your boldness and just your courage to come and lead the way tonight. We love you and thanks for being here.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Hey guys, head to small groups right now and be sure to encourage someone and what their next right thing is, and also share with someone, hey, what is your next right thing, so they can pray and encourage you. We love you guys, and we'll see you next week.